but it's okay. When I first met Chris, we went to Catholic school together, and all the cool kids played basketball. Guys that look like me don't play basketball. So I'm like, you know what, everybody that's cool here plays basketball. I'm going to play. So the first night back, Mrs. Barron gave us a ride home. And we're driving back from the game, and she says, because I'm the new guy at St. Mary's, she says, Ian, what do your parents do? And me, earmuffs, everybody. Me being Ian says, Mrs. Barron, I'm an orphan. I don't have parents. And immediately she felt horrible. And Chris knew our relationship was doomed from that point on. Every time I asked Chris to do anything from that point on, it was like, she's not going to let me go. Little did I know he was telling me the truth. I snubbed Chris out so many times. Sorry, Mr. Barron. He needed to let it go. So we grew up, and our parents began to think, because Chris and I were together so much, my mom's like, no, you're always with Chris. All your friends, earmuffs, all your friends have girlfriends now. Earmuffs, they're all getting laid. Just hanging out with Chris. Like shooting lacrosse balls into a big brick wall, or like going hiking. What's up with you guys? So my mom, my sister, I don't know about the Barons, but we were gay. And I love to buy shoes. FML. So,
FML?
so come to find out, the kid that was attached in my hip and my soulmate, junior year of high school, goes, Ian, I'm thinking about going to Avon Old Farms, and I go, are you going to commute? He goes, no, I'm going to live there. And I go, you can't fucking live there. What am I going to do? Side note, parentheses, I hung out with drug dealers for the next 2 years of my life. So, Chris brought me back to the blue. So he says, I'm going to Avon Old Farms, and I say, I go, okay, how are we going to do this? And he goes, you need to write my essay. They want me to write an essay to get in, and you need to write it. I go, what do you want it to, I don't know, what do you want me to write it about? He goes, put fucking Calvin and Hobbes in there. So, I don't know. So I wrote this essay. So he applied to all these prep schools. Like 3 weeks later, he was like, I got into Avon Old Farms. I think it was your essay. Here it goes to this guy. So then Chris disappeared for like 2 years of my life. And like I said, yeah, I don't remember much about that time. I remember gray New England winters and a best friend named Rat. But I've never talked to him since then. Anyways, so I graduate. Chris graduates, and he says, Ian, I'm going to Gettysburg. Gettysburg. No, it's a great school. It's cool. A bunch of my friends went there. And a little, so I go, okay, do whatever you want. I don't know where that is. It's further away from me, but okay, I'll stay in my purgatory for 3 years. I'm not entertaining you, Mr. Barron. Are you texting?
Multitasker.
I'm trying. Stop the cough. I'm trying, Mr. Barron.
Frank.
So, Chris is at Gettysburg, and all of a sudden he's a lacrosse superstar, and I'm bragging to all my drug dealer friends. My boy's awesome. He's going to Maryland for like this big lacrosse championship, and he's awesome.
Jersey.
Maryland, you're in College Park, Maryland, and actually, it was College Park, Maryland. When I got married. Oh, yeah, right. Typical Barron. Okay. I'm calling him up. I'm like, Chris, I'm getting married. Getting married, and then I'm 21, so my wife is awesome. Like, I love my wife, and he's like, all right, cool. I don't know her, but whatever. Frat boy with a kegerator. He goes, when's your wedding? I said, May 27th. I got the lacrosse champion.
There are kids all over the place. It's okay.
It's not the first one. My kids are third. He says the college lacrosse championship is that week. It's in playoffs. Yeah, you didn't make it. Right. Which enabled you to come to my wedding. We're getting to that. Like I said, I made it. So he says, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. So meanwhile, because of this, because Chris is in the playoffs, in this Burt Stadium, correct? It would have been there. Burt Stadium, right? And I said, this is my best friend growing up. He has to be in my wedding. But he just told me, I don't know if I want to be in his wedding because I'm going to be in and my wife even said, if he makes it to the championships, don't give him a guilt trip. Just tell him to play. Because we used to sit in his parents' house with the Pope on the wall and watch the college championships every year.
Oh my God, give him a microphone.
So I'm like, this is it. This is fun.
With the Pope.
I can't express myself without swearing. So,
I love him.
he says, I'm not going to make it. And I go, okay. So I pulled this bag up out of this guy. I'm not swearing anymore. And like, I didn't even know the guy that was going to take Chris's place. And Chris calls me, he's like, we lost. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you lost. When are you going to be here? He goes, I'm going to make your wedding. And I think we got the tux fitted and everything. So Chris makes it to my wedding. He's 20 years old. Everybody in my groomsmen parties were all 20 years old and getting blasted in my party. It was awesome. It was the biggest middle finger to the U.S. That being said, a few years later, Chris disappears. We don't, again, no. So, a few years later, Chris disappears. He drops off the face of the earth. And I get, like, random phone calls about void tacking skiing and not knowing what he's doing and, like, going off a triple black diamond. And, like, it just whispers about this Becky chick. And I'm like, you're gay. Like, who's Becky? Is Becky some dude? It is an arrow. So, this isn't the wedding. Just keep that in mind. It's not inappropriate. So finally, I meet up with Chris a couple years later. He was unemployed, with a beard, probably 30 pounds overweight, like I am now, at his parents' house, and I found out that he was living in Newington again, unbeknownst to me, his best friend, attached to him, Siamese twin, gay brother, wallet for shoes. So, I find out he's in Newington. I get out of work, I haul ass at 61 Littlebrook Drive, and I knock on the door. Mr. Barron answers the phone and walks upstairs. He was Chris, someone's there. So Chris comes downstairs, and I thought I wanted to punch him. I had my little girl with me, who he hadn't met, and Mia's here somewhere reading or getting some fresh air outside. I had Mia, and I said, I have a daughter. Thank you for meeting her. She said, I'm sorry. I'm out on my own. I've been living in Poland with my uncle and going to school and peeing on a library and trying to fly helicopters. Sorry. And something about an astrologer or something. Copernicus, whatever his name is. Anyway. So I said, Chris, I hate you for not calling me. And he goes, I came back and I didn't know what to do. So I hear all this stuff about Becky. So me and Chris are hanging out, and then a couple weeks later he goes, Becky's moving into Chad's house. I said, really? Okay. This makes sense. So one night I drive over there, and we're all playing ping pong. And I started playing the guitar on the couch because my motor skills aren't equipped perfect enough for me to play beer pong at this point in the night. So I just start playing beer pong. Did I say beer pong?
Yes.
Okay, whatever it was. So I start playing some ping pong, and me and Becky start talking, and I realize Becky is the perfect girl.
Oh, there we go.
You know what? You put him in line. You put him where he needs to be.
Oh.
Because he had the dominating Mrs. Barron. Sorry, Brian. Okay.
And
This is dominating for me because every time I ask him to do anything. No, I know. I'm going to hang out with him for the rest of my life, too. Whether you like it or not. I can't wait. So I meet Becky. Becky is perfect. And I'm like looking at Becky and I'm like, this girl? You landed this girl? I'm like, okay. Sorry, Chris. So like I start to get to know Becky. I'll get it in one more time. So it's long. I'm patient. I'll wrap it up soon. Anyway, my wife and I moved out of Connecticut a few months ago, probably 6 months ago, and ever so often she comes up to me and she's like, "How are Chris and Becky?" Because Chris and Becky are now, we're so glad to be married and have another couple that's together that gets it. They get it. There's something about being married where it just clicks. There's boyfriends, there's girlfriends, it goes, it comes, but they get it. And we knew they got it from the very beginning. And so my wife is always like, what are Chris and Becky up to? Let's go out with Chris and Becky, let's go out with Chris. They were 1,400 miles away. I'm not gelling, but you can't just go. And now that we're back, I landed in Windsor Locks and I go, I really hate being in Connecticut. I have a nice big house on the coast in Florida with a huge pool in the back and a nice breeze that blows all the time. And I go fishing, and now I'm in this godforsaken state, spilling martinis. And when I saw Chris and Becky, I'm like, awesome. I want to sleep at their house forever. And I tried to. Then I puked in the bushes. That being said, they get it. They get it. I'm so glad they're getting married. I'm so glad Chris found Becky. I'm not going to get into your proposals because that is just a can of worms. But I'm totally psyched and stoked for you guys. You're awesome. I'm sorry this ran on so long, but I felt inadequate not saying something tonight because I love you guys so much. Chris, you're my brother. Mr. Barron, I'm the fourth brother. Your mom don't give a shit what you say.